Breaking news into HQ, the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournaments will not expand next season, remaining at 68 teams for 2026. The NCAA will continue to discuss potentially expanding of the fields to 76 starting in 2027. The basketball committees met last month but were unable to reach a final decision, making expansion for this season unlikely due to logistical reasons. The NCAA men's tournament has been at 68 teams since 2011 when the first four were implemented. The women's tournament went to 68 in 2022. For much more on this, let's go ahead and say hello to our own Matt Norlander. Matt, great to see you. Let's just start with your reaction to this news.
Well, I'm pleased by it. I'm not ultimately surprised because of where we are on the calendar. So just a quick recap. This has been discussed. Whether or not to expand the tournament has been a topic of discussion for more than 3 years now. Why has it taken more than 3 years to come to a resolution? Because you have some folks in college athletics like conference commissioners that are pushing for it, coaches as well. But it's an extremely unpopular idea. And is very financially, it's very expensive to do this. So last month, the committees met in person, the men's committee in Georgia, the women's committee in Philadelphia. They couldn't come to any kind of vote, even though we were expecting one then. And now we have a calendar creep up on the academic year. And for the past few weeks, in talking to my sources, it just seemed like an inevitability that was what was made official on Monday would come to be. And that is at the very least, we get one more year of a 68-team NCAA tournament in both the men's and women's side, and that will be highly praised for the NCAA. The NCAA is on the wrong end of a lot of headlines, but I promise you that so long as it keeps the NCAA tournament at 68 teams deep, it will receive some widespread praise.
So things staying the same for now after several people, including yourself, as you just alluded to, have advocated for things staying at 68. Why is that so important to you?
Well, it's not just me. I mean, there's been actually pretty much everyone across the media landscape has written about why tournament expansion is completely unnecessary. I sent out the story when I broke the news earlier on Monday, and the replies and quote tweets are nothing but praise and hallelujahs and hosannas over the idea that the tournament's not going to be messed with, because there is something to be said for having something so perfect or near perfect. I think the tournament at 64 is perfect, but I'm not going to get greedy. And sports fans are not clamoring to have more high-volume lost teams, uninspiring resumes get into the tournament. The fact of the matter is that the teams that are not getting into the tournament right now are not being held off and being future eventual national champions. It's just not. 68 teams is more than enough. And keeping the integrity of the bracket, keeping the relevancy, oh, by the way, of the regular season also means a great deal. The more teams you bring in, inherently you threaten the urgency of the final 4 to 6 weeks of college basketball's regular season, in addition to the start of it, when if the general public sees or acknowledges that there's going to be, you know, a 76-team tournament in theory that could be played out, well, how much do these games really mean in November and December? And that's another additional detail that I reported, Jordan, today, by the way. Although the official stance from the NCAA is that staying at 68, going to 72 or going to 76 are all options on the table, my sources have indicated that really it's either going to be to stay at 68 or to eventually move to 76. The thinking is if you're going to expand, then really expand. 72 is just considered a distant, long shot, third option at this point, more than 3 years into discussing this. And the people that want to do it, go to 76 are your conference commissioners, your coaches, not even all coaches. I heard from plenty of coaches like Dan Hurley, John Shire, Nate Oates, plenty of them just last month when I was talking to them on the road. They're not in favor of expanding this tournament. So it remains a hot topic, and whether or not public sentiment wins out remains to be seen. But it is not a cheap proposition. I want to be clear about this. The reason why this has taken so long is by bringing in 8 more women's teams in addition to 8 more men's teams. That's tens of millions of dollars more in expenses in women's basketball. For all of the popularity increase that has happened over the past 5 or 6 years, it still loses millions of dollars each year, and the NCAA does not want to expand these tournaments if it still stands to lose even more money.
Matt Norlander, incredible insight as always into some of this breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ, as the men's and women's basketball tournaments will not expand next season, remaining at 68 teams for 2026. You could hear more on this from Matt Norlander and Gary Parrish, as the guys are set to record an episode going deeper into this on the Ion College Basketball podcast shortly. You can check that out by scanning that QR code on your screen.